Yeah, it's definitely one of those dates that when the season started, it was highlighted because of how highly everybody spoke of the tournament. Right, there was no negatives. Great city, great golf course, great fans. Emphasize on great fans. And obviously, I think everybody who watches golf, and some people that don't watch golf, have seen the images of the watering hole, which I thought it was a lot shorter. I don't know, it's a lot harder of a hole than I ever pictured, to be honest, to have that many people, right? So you're going to do a stadium, maybe give us a bit shorter of a hole, so the chances of making it are a little bit higher, but it's still a sight to see. That's absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to be here. I've seen the golf course a little bit, and you know, I can see why everybody was raving about it. If we don't get a lot of wind or any rain, which it doesn't look like it can get really firm and fast and make it a really entertaining event, not only for us, but for everybody watching.
Well, that was one of my initiatives when I was asked to come on board as CEO and Commissioner of LIV. I knew the value of Australia, what Australia can represent to the game of golf, and what Australia lacked. And the Premier hit the nail on the head. Basically, the fans spoke in droves last year. They continue to speak this year. So to be able to bring the quality of Jon Rahm plus 53 other guys down here for the Australians to experience was meaningful for me, because I came down here, it was my mission every year as a player to bring back my skills, to show Australia, to grow Australian golf the best way I possibly could. But that was with 14 clubs in the bag and what I did on the golf course. To be able to do it here with the impact that we've had, not only on the golf course, with the players, commercially as well, economically, the economic impact that we've brought to Adelaide, and the Premier touched on that again. Those are the things that people don't really speak about very much, but we as a team working with SATC see the value of what we've delivered here is just incredible. And as we look into the future, you know, last year was one, this is number two, and then we keep building on top of that and making it better and better and better. So very, very proud of it. Proud of my country, proud of what we delivered, proud of what the boys, like John was just saying now about, you know, the excitement about coming down here because of what they've heard about what happened in LIV Adelaide last year. And be honest with you, this event here from last year to this year is the benchmark for LIV. We get all the other events, 13 events around the world, to take a look at what we've delivered here and what Adelaide's delivered and what the state government's delivered and what the local community and the regions delivered. And you go, it can be done. Here it is. Let's work together. Look, every market's different because we got to look at the different cultures that we work with. But when you look at the three specific things, you have entertainment and you have golf and you have culture, right? So if you take those three ingredients everywhere you go in the world, you'll be able to figure out the right way to inject a LIV event somewhere. We as a team look at that all the time. Culture is very, very important for us. We use this as the benchmark, saying, look how we've dealt with the local culture within Adelaide, within South Australia, and then it morphs out into the country. So everywhere we go, we study that. A little different in the United States because the United States obviously has a tour there that's existing. But I can tell you in the 1 year that we've gone through, even the United States now, there's different markets there that go, oh, we haven't had a PGA Tour event. We would love to have one there because of what you can deliver. And like I said in the beginning, we bring everything to the table, from the players to the production to the event, so we can move it to a place and just make the adjustments we need to make from a marketing perspective to suit the culture, to suit what the state government might be doing in some other place, and it works. And, you know, it's hard to imagine we are basically less than 1.5 years into this thing. And the impact that we've had on a global basis, you can talk about Adelaide, you can talk about the United States, you can talk about Valderrama in Spain, you can talk about the impact that we've had on this in such a short period of time has been extremely powerful. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is the fact that what we've done to the game of golf and how golf is looked on as an asset class. And if it wasn't for LIV, this additional investment dollars going to the game, into the sport, would never have happened. So very, very proud of that. These guys are very much part of all that because they've seen the value of what we can deliver, and they see the long value of what they will have in ownership in their teams as well.
That's extremely subjective to the player, right? I think there's a few things that make a tournament special for somebody. Could be golf course, the design, the history of the tournament, and just simply you having performed properly there. In my case, I usually go based on atmosphere, right? And that's why Phoenix Open's been something that's really interesting for me, right? That's why San Diego in the past, for people I haven't been, it's an atmosphere that's incredible on coming down the stretch. Why I keep going back to Spain as often as I can, just simply because the atmosphere I experience there is incredible, right? And the reason why this event is as popular as it's been, right? No matter what the golf course and the golf is or the weather conditions are, when the people show up and they're more excited than you are to be here, is what makes the tournament so great. Is what happens in majors, is what happens in Ryder Cup, right? It's not really us, it's not really the golf, it's the spectators who come and support the game and want to be there so badly. That's what makes it something that's really enticing for me to go and perform. Because at the end of the day, we're entertainers.
That was phenomenal, to be honest with you. I went there specifically to support the boys. I wanted them to know that I was there for that reason, so I tried to get around to shake hands with each and every one of them to wish them the best. To walk with the patrons, I've never done that before in my life anywhere in the world. I think I walked one playoff here in Australia when a friend of mine was in the Australian Masters. I walked with his family in the playoff hole, but it was incredible. The support, the recognition, the comments that were made. It was almost unanimous for 3 straight days, walking around with people. I had people with me, so I do have witnesses to the fact that that's what it was. And it was just to see it and to hear it and to hear what comments they made about what's happening to the game of golf and the good that LIV has brought to the game of golf. It was very, very strong for me. It was a very powerful 3 days. And I must admit, Wednesday when I was going out there, I did leave the house with trepidation because I didn't know what to expect, because I have a lot of great friends at Augusta National. I've got a lot of history at Augusta National. And I just didn't know what to expect. So my first hour walking around, I just relaxed and had a great time. I'd love to give you insight, but I don't have any. We at LIV are totally separate to that part of the negotiation. We at LIV are a standalone company being invested by the same investor interested in the game of golf. Now, this goes back 10 minutes ago when I said, what I said to Evan was investment dollars are flowing into the game of golf for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. Our investor wanted to invest into LIV because he loved the opportunity of the franchise model, what he could do with it, and how we could build it out on a global platform. So me specifically, I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't want to know what's going on over there because we are so fixated on growing and developing and building out what LIV is today and doing our schedule for 2025 and going into 2026. Our responsibility is to look after our people, our players, excuse me, and where we want to go. So I don't have an answer.
I really don't know. There's a lot of unknowns, I think, on everybody's side, right? And the people that are very smart and are behind this are trying to figure out what's the best for golf. But I haven't spoken to enough players on the PGA Tour to know what their position is, to be honest. So I don't know if it's impatience or just lack of knowledge in general. But I think we all want to see this resolved. Right? We all want to see this resolved, and like I've said many times, we have the opportunity to take golf to the next level in the global market, and I think done properly, we can end up with a better product for everybody and putting golf as a bigger product in general, as a worldwide sport. But there's a level of comfort when I say that because it's a little bit more of what we're used to seeing in golf, right? And I came to this realization, and I think it could help a lot of fans trust and LIV a little bit more because that's a lot of the complaint that I see from a lot of people. But I made the analogy a little bit ago of why I think we can end up with a great product. How in football, European football, right? You have the Premier League, you have the Spanish League, you have the German League, you have Serie A, right? You have the Champions League, the Europe Cup, you have many other things. The one thing I realized is they all play under the same set of rules, right? While we play under most set of rules, the one key difference is 72 holes, right? The only sport that I see that's a little bit different to where they play pretty much the same, and then the Grand Slams are different, is tennis. But even within then, every tournament or every championship is the same set of rules, right? So that's one of the main reasons why I believe it could help us. But at the end of the day, LIV is a business. If it doesn't fit the product, it doesn't fit the product. I'm just a player, right? There's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me that can figure it out and explain why they believe 54 holes may be better for them. I can tell you from player experience, and I tell the people that give me that argument, if you come watch an event, you forget by Sunday that you've only played 3 rounds. It makes no difference. You're competing to win. You win or you don't win. And by the end of the day, if I told you, oh, it was 54 holes, you really don't think about it because you're just immersed in the competition, right? And the competition is the same. You want going down the stretch with a 1 or 2 shot lead or 1 or 2 shot deficit, the feelings are all the same, right? So that would be also my counter argument to that. If you haven't experienced it and haven't given it a chance, it's not fair to judge without knowing.
Greg, what's your response to that?
I think from Liv's perspective, we're very open-minded about it. But you've got to understand there is economic impact about putting television on for 72 holes. Right now, John hits the nail on the head. When you tee up on Friday, it's a sprint to the end. There's no warm-up time period to get you. If you have Thursday, if I'm talking about from a player's perspective now, sometimes you can have an average first round and then you come back and shoot a 64 and then get yourself back into it. Now you're into the weekend. If you really don't play well on Friday here, you have a hard time because the quality of play here is so high. You know when you tee it off, and you'll speak to most of the guys out there. It's a question you should ask them. It is the intense pressure on it straight away because you have to perform immediately right off the bat. So it's a great conversation to have. We will continue to have that conversation going forward. But we sit back and say, what value do we get on putting on television on Thursday? Now go to Evans, how do we build out into the future? How do we get more people, as the Premier says, to the golf course? Maybe it is Thursday, and you allow another 30,000 people coming in on a Thursday. There are things that we sit back and look at to see what is the most optimal solution to make this a better and better and better event. And 72 holes is discussed. Look, I'll make the comment, if you look back over that time period of that dialogue that was going place, there wasn't one comment about LIV. So LIV never put an offer to him. We didn't need to make a comment about this. This is just typical white noise that gets out there in the industry. If Rory was willing to sit down and have a conversation with us, would we be happy to sit down with him? 100%. No different than any other player who'd be interested in coming on playing with us. It's understanding the facts about what LIV represents and what LIV can deliver on a global basis. That's up to you to determine it. I mean, I've sat down with one top PGA Tour player in his house with another member of my team and walked him through the whole process. And he was so impressed. He said, well, that's not what we're told in the locker room. Right? And this is really impressive. But he made the decision. He called me up 2 days later and said, I've decided to stay where I'm at. I said, happy days. You made a decision on fact. And if you're happier over here, fine, stay there. Your door is always open. If you want to come back and have a conversation with us, happy to do that.